So whereabouts are you from, Butch?
I come from Jervois. My dad had a dairy farm there.
Oh yeah.
And
Murray Bridge.
yeah, went to high school at Murray Bridge.
Played football for Jervois.
Played all my junior football for Jervois.
Red and black.
Yep.
What do they call them?
Blood and Tars.
That's it.
Or the Bloods they're called these days. Yeah, played my first 4 years of senior footy there. That was a mixture of an A grade and B grade. B grade mainly in the first couple of years when I was straight out of Colts. And,
As you do.
and some A grade.
Just to toughen you up.
Yeah, then mainly A grade after that.
Yep. And you got into banking.
When I, 16-year-old, I was sick of school and teachers were sick of me. So I started looking for a job and I was interested in accounting, so tried all the banks in the area and got a job in the State Bank of South Australia at Tail and Ben.
Right.
Left school one week and there the week after, so that was in 1970.
And they taught you on the job.
All on the job training. So yeah.
Is that right? That was back in the day.
Yep. So I spent all my working career working for that bank and whoever owned them after that. So 43 years in total before I retired. So. Yeah.
And they moved you around a bit.
I moved around a bit. Managed I talk about some footy.
Well, because the thing about Tumby Bay Football Club, and the reason that I'm angling about your banking career, is that Tumby Bay is a club that, by the nature of the community, the town, being a service centre, the club's made up of a lot of
floaters.
A lot of floaters.
Yep.
To Michael Harris, who has just come onto the ground, up to Sorrell, under the, just a bit further out from the forward flank. Gets a big kick up towards Burton.
Teachers.
Used to be stock
bankers,
firms and bank
stock agents.
Yeah.
Doug Young.
Yeah.
Came there.
Yeah.
Tell me the story. How you came to Tumby Bay.
Okay. How did I get to Tumby Bay? I was working in the bank on Kangaroo Island and really enjoying my time there and played some pretty good footy there. And
who for?
I played for the Zanga Club.
Yep.
And didn't have much final success there, but played some pretty good footy myself. Made the association side. That was the first time I played association footy.
Great.
Last year I was there. I won the A grade best and fairest for Wazunga Footy Club.
Is that the Panthers?
Panthers they are. Yep.
That's a nice little ground.
Yeah, out in the middle of the scrub. Yeah, if you blink when you're driving past, you'd miss it, but yeah.
It's a Kingscote club, I'm guessing.
It's a second Kingscote club, but a lot of farmers from that area, so...
We've got the hounds in Kingscote.
Yep.
And then I imagine it's probably a mixed farming, and then you'd probably have half the club drawn from Kingscote.
Kingscote, yeah, used to be stock agents and teachers and bankies playing out there, so yeah, really enjoyed my time there. And just in those days, you got told where you were going, got a notice that I was going to Tumby Bay, so in the bank. So we moved there in about September 1979.
And that was obviously a bit of a shock. That it's a long way to go. You were married at the time?
Yep.
Where's Marilyn from?
Marilyn, she's from Murray Bridge as well, so we've been married forever.
Good job.
So.
Yeah. But what did she say when she found out that you were going down?
We'd travelled we'd got married before I left Jervois, and we went to Waikerie, played footy there, then to Barmera, then to Kangaroo Island. So she'd followed me around. She wasn't worried by that. So so we were looking forward to Tumby Bay. It was nice.
How'd you get over there?
Well, she and the two kids got a flight to Adelaide from Kingscote, and the next day they flew to Port Lincoln. I got on the Wazunga Footy Club, got me half shot, loaded me on the True Bridge with the car and the dog and the trailer, and we sailed overnight and landed in Port Lincoln the next morning. So
because back in those days, the True Bridge did
did the whole lot. So
Port Adelaide,
Port Lincoln and Kingscote. So then out to the airport to pick up Marion, and then we're up to Tumby Bay. So
what do you think?
Oh, well, I love Tumby Bay. It's one of the best places I've worked. There in Kangaroo Island are probably my two favourites, and yeah. Well, I always played a lot of sport, cricket and football, and if you joined in with the locals, they really made you feel welcome.
That's right.
And they really made us feel welcome at Tumby. Marion played a bit of netball as well, so they really made us feel at home. So
yeah, well, they would have been glad to have you.
Yeah.
Particularly when they saw the height of you.
But it's a good mark taken by Mark Harris in front. Goes back, looking across towards the centre there, to his brother Shane, and takes another good mark in front. He's a good player, this boy.
Reefer. Mark Harris ended up with a nickname Reefer.
For a good reason.
Yeah.
Goes in, handball's over there, hits the ground, but Allen picks up well. Goes wide, looking for Locker, shows a turn of pace, can't pick it up, but does recovers well onto his left foot. Good pass into Dunn. He misses it. Pressured here. Shane Harris goes to meet the ball and he's met too high and he'll receive a free kick.
Tell me about Lockyer.
He was a young lad there. His father was a secretary at the hospital and he started working the ANZ Bank while I was in the State Bank at Tumby. I reckon that was his last game for Tumby. The next year he got a shift in the bank. So he was just starting to be a very good footballer.
Well, that's the misfortune of a club like Tumby with so many chaps as yourself who are going to get moved around.
Yeah, well, there was 3 banks there in my time, and there was Rexy Whittaker, and he's come out of high school and started working the bank. Myself in the State Bank. There was 2 out of the Savings Bank, which was right next door to us, and 2 in the ANZ Bank. Tom Tierney being one of them. So there's half a dozen. When I go back to Tumby these days, and every few years and watch them play a game, I just wonder where are they getting their players from, because there were stock firms as well, while there's still stock firms there, they're all owned by franchisees and they don't have stock agents going through them, and there's only one bank left in the town, and that'd have probably 2 local ladies working in it. And we used to get a number of teachers.
Taking it very slowly, coming out here towards Lamshed. Gets the handball across to Higgins. Higgins gets the left footer in, but it's at very low. Temple.
So the club at that time when you arrived was playing in Port Lincoln?
That's right. First year I had there was 1980, and that was Tumby's last year in the Port Lincoln League. We only won 2 games for the year, and a lot of the times we were getting flogged by Waybacks and Tasmans and the like. So, but I did enjoy the footy. I had a pretty good year, but came the end of the year, everyone started talking about it's time for us to move. We weren't competitive in the Lincoln League, and that's when we decided to go to the Great Flinders League. So.
Mark Walkup goes through, misses. Cromer grabs the ball, chips it in, and Sorrell has taken yet another mark on that centre half forward line. Played a lot better this quarter. Taking those marks. Kicks across here to
being outside, you went with the flow.
Yeah,
but
I could see the benefit of it. So yeah, I was certainly for it. And there was only 1 or 2 of the club members that were against it. But in the end, it'll still show today. I go back and watch Tumby play every now and again when I can.
And he just watches, and it does go away. Boundary umpire throws it in quickly.
Kelly, down to Hartwig. Touch balls, it goes to the goal square for Tumby. Osty Monfries dishes off to Jack McDonald, who snaps around his body, and Tumby won't go away.
And to see the huge crowd they get there at the footy, they got the footy and the netball all together, and
exactly what I was going to say. You would have the biggest difference was the crowd size, because Port Lincoln, smaller crowds.
Yep, if you play at Centennial Oval, and because the netball didn't follow the footy, and my wife played netball. She was off playing netball somewhere else, and so yeah, the support Tumby had, or we were the bottom side, we didn't used to get that big a following either, but that all changed when we went to Great Flinders. Everyone got behind us, and
sticking around after the game probably too for a big boozer.
Oh yeah.
Kicks it now. It's a long high kick, looking for Darlitz. Underneath it, no. Gary Carr from behind. Sorrell. It is, sorry. Yes, Sorrell took the mark over the top of Darlitz at that time. Looking in towards Carr. It's too far for Carr. Ronkoff's underneath it. No. Tony Higgins takes a spectacular mark out of that pack. Gets the handball over to Carr, who twists and turns like a rover. It's looking for Burton. Richardson's there. Thumps the ball. Back to Higo. At full forward, gets and turn over to Dunn, over to Harry.
Our club room in those days used to be at the RSL hall.
Is that right?
Yeah. So there was a grandstand at the Oval and the change rooms underneath it. And after the game, we're back to the RSL rooms, which the footy club had half the RSL rooms. And that was lucky. It was only just around the corner from where I live. So
beautiful. So you can stagger home.
Sorrell and Butch Peller up.
Yeah.
So life is perfect.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time there.
Pee-wee Richardson kicks out now. A good long kick from this ex-league player. Ball well contested, but Sorrell takes a good mark from behind the pack.
Who were some of the notable players at that time?
Well, I got the 1975.
Great.
No, the 75 years photo. That's the first year we were in the Great Flinders League.
So that's 1981.
1981. So, yeah, of course, our star was Brenton Lamshed.
Scramble develops. Ball's knocked out to Southern. Gets a wobbly old kick on Oswald. He can't handle it properly. It backs up well. Good handball knocked away there from Fitzgerald. Carr backs up again, knocks it through. It's a scrambly passage of play here at the moment. Lamshed comes in, he does something with it. A good handball out the cave. A long left handball to nobody. Carr picks up, kicks along with his right foot into the open space that's in half forward. Higgins knocks it on brilliantly. Harris, but he's well tackled there by Menard. Higgins again, left handball out to Burton, across to Sorrell.
Yeah, Kevin Sorrell was a banker. He came into town and was a very good player.
Brenton, he's a school teacher. Good fellow too, Brenton.
Yeah, Tom Tierney came as a banker and then...
I had Tom Tierney living one side of me and Danny Cromer was 2 houses up.
Great.
And then turn gets it along to Jared Secker, who can't control the ball. Yes, he's picked it up. Gets a short pass, but Billy Oswald again is in the road. And he takes a safe mark to relieve the pressure for Tumby. Oswald kicks it up towards the wing. Sorrell takes a big mark over the top of Darlitz.
Oh, it's a good mark.
Outmarked Joe Darlitz, it was all right.
Yeah, that's not going too bad. That's all right.
Out towards the wing. Hughes goes for it one-handed. Still in control. Tucks around his opponent now. Good handball over the top there. Fitzgerald kicks the ball in, looking there. No, it's taken away by Caulfield. Well read off the packs. And a good mark, strong mark taken by Peter Burton. He'll go back looking to kick long. Looking in there for Shane Harris. It's knocked away from him. Taken away in the back pocket there by Temple. He kicks a high wobbly old kick, but it's Burton all by himself, takes the easiest of chest marks. Kicks across towards centre half forwards now there. Nobody can mark it, it's off hands. Blacker, handballs out to Menard. Kick smothered brilliantly by Lamshed. He lines up for an open goal. And yes, it's a goal.
Yep, our captain coach, Brenton Lamshed.
Could play.
Yeah, could play. Won the male medal that year. Had the Harris brothers, Rexy Whittaker, Jack Carr, who I used to ruck with, Peter Burton. So we had some handy footballers.
You did.
And
you were unlucky not to win that premiership.
Blacker against Sorrell. Gets nowhere. Mark Walkup is grabbed and umpire says he gets a push in the back from Higgins. Walkup to take the free.
We finished top, and one of the games we lost for the year was just getting near the finals, and Ramblers beat us by a few points, and that only enabled them to just scrape into the 4th.
Is that right? Wow.
So they come from 4th, and we play them in the grand final. We'd beaten Kapini in the second semi-final, a pretty convincing win.
And Sorrell has taken another mark.
Yeah, in the grand final, unfortunately, we ended up losing by a point. So that was
a few things went against you. Obviously, you kicked too many points.
Yep.
Shane Harris obviously had a shocker. in front of goal, and the umpiring was against you, I've got to say.
Yeah, they were local umpires. So,
and on the day they were very local.
And we're the new boys on the block. So.
Yeah, actually, this is a classic. Keep in mind that you lost by 1 point.
Gets pushed out of the road. There's plenty of Tumby players there. They've got all day. Peter Fitz playing like a champ. Gets it back. Danny Cromer takes the mark. A Rambler centre half forward. Gets a little kick to no one in particular. Harry takes it. Just gets missed by Pee-wee. Ball goes up towards Michael Harris. It was a good solid hip and shoulder, I think.
Actually, I think that's bad umpiring. He's taken the ball back there to Michael Harris, but Stephen Higgins was all out by himself and would have got a goal. So
there you go. So Steve Higgins, as the commentator says, has got the ball and is no one near him.
And they brought it back.
And they brought it back in a 1 point game. And so what happened after that?
Well, for me, that was maximum.
You started the next year.
Yeah. That was my 4th losing A-grade grand final.
Oh, wow.
I'd lost one in my hometown at Jervois, lost one at Waikerie in 1975. Then at Barmer, I lost one in 1976, so that was my 4th losing grand final. So
wow.
I was thinking I was never going to win one. So,
but you did. Tell us.
All right. So next year...
You started at Tumby in 82.
Started at Tumby in 82. Around that time, I got notice that I was getting shifted to Ceduna in the bank. So those days, yeah, they just sent you a letter and said, you're going to Ceduna, you'll be there on such and such a day. So
a bit like working for Rural Press, but yeah, go
on. So
he started recording.
Oh. Here we are at the start of the main match of the day, the grand final between Western United and Thevenard.
I had to make up my mind what I wanted to do, whether I was move up there and drive back to Tumby for the rest of the year or get a clearance and start playing up there and starting to mix into a new community. There was a couple of Thevenard guys watched me play at the Mortlock Shield, Snow and Goog Chandler, who are legends up in the Thevenard area. They watched me play, then they approached me to if I was going to shift that year, whether I play for Thevenard.
Great club.
Yeah. In the end, I thought, well, I'm moving to a new town, and so I'll get a clearance and start playing for them for the last part of the year. Roger Dunn wasn't very happy. He wanted me to drive back. No, he was going to drive up halfway to Ceduna each week, meet me and drive me back, just so I finished playing for Tumby. But in the end, I made the decision I'd move to the new town. And I had 2 options to play for Ceduna, who weren't travelling that well, or Thevenard, who had approached me, who were going pretty well. So I decided to get a clearance to Thevenard.
Yeah, I know Butch very well.
Yeah. He obviously handy.
He had enormous size and good skills. But he was handy.
He was going to always give a good account of himself.
Westies are into attack from this first bounce of the second quarter. Looking for Tuna. Tuna overran it. Darryl Montgomery. Tuna. He's got plenty of pace. He goes out wide. It's all Halls back here. Can he hold his ground? And he done it well, the young fella, and taken a good mark. Halls goes out there looking for the big fella Sorrell. There goes Mahar straight down the centre.
And of course, Thevy have never paid anyone. Is that right?
No, well, not certainly during the era I was there. No,
but
sort of all about.
But all that success.
Yeah, well, other teams did, and I know they, paid.
Well, Blues rely on it, otherwise they wouldn't win any games. But
tapped down there by Sorrell. Anthony Mahar goes short looking for Nesbitt. Through comes Shane Baker. Baker finally got the ball. It's on again behind play. Sorrell this time in Trowbridge. Halls.
I just look at I watched this, a little bit of this on something you had one day, and I just look at all the old cars in the background.
It's great, isn't it? And the money that they're worth now.
Yeah.
Even the old Japanese cars are worth a heap.
Goes in short, bounces a bit short though. Clevy missed the chance again. It's taken away through Snapper Miller. Brook, Thevenard, and is it out of bounds on the full or not? We don't know. It is, and be a free kick to Thevenard. He'll go short looking for Halls. Gone too high though. Has it on to Mahar. Mahar right down looking for who? It's gone over everybody's head at any rate. Stacks on the middle, the umpire's found a free kick, and this will go to Western United again. Taken by Warmington. Sheep Warmington. It goes out wide in front of the tuner. Ricky Kavanagh for Thevenard. Handballs over to Mahar. Mahar over there to Sorrell. Sorrell's big right foot kick. Looking for Snowy Myers. He's in front and Mahar. Handballs over to Anthony Mahar. Mahar, round one player. Gets his kick smothered. Barry Stott.
So that's Barry Stott. And Barry lives at Lincoln now, but he was at Great Purby.
Wilmington caught. Paul Thevenard here as Mark Jones leads the race to the ball. Bounces at once onto his left foot, shoots it into Oystman. Oystman up high and Mark. Over to Mahar, which was silly play really when he could have nearly kicked that distance. Mahar again, Mahar back to Stott. Stott onto his right foot, touched and through for 1 point only.
You know, winning is a lot about attitude, isn't it? You know, once you sort of get that correct, you know, and we had people playing well above their ability. Mind you, there's a lot of underrated players playing in within that game too, you know what I mean?
Barry Stott let the ball go and it's marked by Sorrell. Sorrell's drop punt kick right up to the forward line. Oystman makes front position and marks.
And then we won one in '83, which was my first year back after playing at West Orange. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Handballs over to Mahar. Mahar back over to Stott. Stott, round one, onto right foot, up to the forward line. Oystman's coming from behind. He's taken it, I think, right above the pack. No, he's going to give it to Thompson. Thompson was in front. Thompson, the last goal for Thevenard. Can he put another one on the board? Thompson's kick. He hadn't made no mistake about that one. Thevenard, as we said before, gradually pulling him back. 6 goal forward, 7 goals 3. 5 points in front.
So your centre half forward and your full forward kick that many goals between them, you've got a pretty good side.
You're going to win a flag, mate, yeah.
Hey.
Oystman's kick and it's a goal.
Yep. And of course he could have a bit of a bash too, old reviewer.
Well, it's interesting because when I went to Sturt with Rick McGowan said, you know, we just need a forward like him, that one that crashes the packs. And if you look now, you know, at around, that's so critical that the forwards bring the ball to ground. So you always knew you were going to get this competitive effort.
Picked up here by Kavanagh, Shane Kavanagh that is. He's coming in there, Dino Rexes couldn't make up ground. Barry Stott pushed off the ball. The umpires found a free, and that'll go in the way of Barry Stott. Stott for Thevenard. Goes short. Oh, Baker dropped what he should have taken. What he throws there. Self's on the ball. Umpire will have a bounce up on the half-forward line. Ball up, ball down. Westie's come out with it. Miller, he's on his left foot. Knocked down there by Ricky Kavanagh. Through comes Mark Jones. He's tapped off the ball. Through comes Shane Baker. He's met fairly solidly with the elbow. And she's on here, Shane Baker, and also Tim Hardy. Baker's kick, Oisman's in there. Going to be marked. Umpire says play on. And she's on again. Looks like it's going to be a fiery sort of a game.
Irvie Oisman, of course.
There you go.
The pack would be crunched, didn't matter who. Could be your own player in the road, by the way. Got plenty of our team got cleaned up by Irvie and being
Irvie, yeah.
And they used to say, why don't you tell him to watch where you're going? I said, well, you just get out of his road.
Yeah.
He's got a long way to go. He dropped the ball. Play on, says the umpire. Kicked off the ground by Western United. Anthony Maher's in there for Thevy. Can he do something constructive with it? He's got it. Looking for somewhere to kick it. He's put it onto his left foot. He's put down after disposal, and she's on again in the middle. And she's on. The umpire's in the middle there. Miller's in there. Maher's in there, and now she's an all-on brawl. You can see this happening all day. Umpires have had no show. This looked like going on all the time.
Because he's a big man.
That's right, he's a big fella.
And he only picked up the game when he was about, what, 14 or something, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. He didn't. Oh, well, see, we didn't, Far West in the old Far West League didn't have Colts, so, you know, that only started in my time, and he's a couple of years ahead of me. So he would never have had an opportunity, really. He would have had to start playing.
He came out from Holland or somewhere, didn't he?
No, Germany. But no, they'd been in Australia for a while, and they'd certainly been around in the area for a while. But you know, it's just that back in that time, that was pre-Colts and junior footy in the Far West League.
The first year I was there was 82. I got there towards the end of the year, and Western United were top. We managed to beat them in the last minor round game, which was their first loss for the year. We beat them in the preliminary second semi-final. Canibba beat them in the preliminary finals, so they lost 3 games for the year and didn't make the grand final.
Wow.
And then we come up against Canibba in the grand final. And they were always, well, that year it turned out to be my 5th losing grand final.
Whoa! And at that stage you're thinking, wow.
I'm never going to win one.
Never going to win one.
And yeah, we got pretty close in the last quarter. Then they run all over us in about the last 5 or 10 minutes, which Canibba could do when they got a run on. So
that's right.
Yeah, my 5th losing grand final. So next year, 83. We got Anthony Mahar back as our coach. He'd been away to Teachers College.
Which is significant.
Yep.
Ball up, Sorrell takes it out of the air, handballs it over to Mahar.
Tell me about Marty Mahar. Tell me about Marty Mahar.
Good footballer, yeah. He spent some time in Adelaide, and when he returned to Thevenard, he was made to play football, you know. They taught him in Adelaide how to play football properly, you know.
And keep going.
And keep going, yeah.
Because he was relentless.
Yeah, and I think he might have coached Thevenard for a couple of years after I left, and he's always one for getting up where the football is, you know. If the football's going to come down over there and you think, oh, I'll go that way or that way, you don't worry about where you think it's going to go. You go to where that football's going to coming in. Yeah, he was big on that.
They got rid of Anthony Mahar, and it's all Thevenard. Peter Thompson back there, couldn't get the mark. Anthony Mahar, good mark. Running the same way as the ball, courageous mark. Peter Thompson.
And we had a very good year. Also managed to play in a winning Mortlock Shield that year with Far West.
Wow. So you won 2. That's a good job.
Yeah, 2 in 2 years, but with different leagues.
Mm. So you got Marty in there?
Yeah, we got pretty good footballer there named Darryl Borlace.
Could play.
It's a really interesting story because Rick Kavanagh, who played for us, stood Darryl Borlace every time we played Western United.
Out of bounds on the full, will be a free kick to Thevenard in the way of Robbie Hazeldine. Hazeldine's left foot kick. Warrior up high, couldn't get it. Miller stays down, he's got the ball now, onto his left foot. Down to the half-forward line. Ricky Kavanagh its front position and marks. Handball's on quickly over there to Darryl Montgomery. Montgomery over there looking for Nesbitt. Ooh, Nesbitt cocks one up high.
So who are we talking about?
Rick Kavanagh, who played for Thevenard. Every time we played Western United with Darryl Borlace, who went on to play 200 league games for Port, we would just put Rick on him. Not very talented, but the other boat didn't get a kick.
Donnie Turner had a pretty good
could play.
Ask him who number 15 is for Western United. In the back pocket here. Snapper Miller. Who's number 2?
Snapper Miller played in the state country too, Rick. He was in that. And very much a straight through player.
Mm.
Tap down there, Thevy getting a bit rattled. This is going to be taken away by Miller.
Darryl Montgomery.
Darryl was a great player for our club, you know. He played centre half-back for Far West and half-back flank for EP and state country as well. So
it's hard for an umpire to give a decision just in front of goals, but it was certainly there on that occasion. Knocked out by Far West on this occasion, but not to anybody in particular.
Warmington being forced to the outer side. Montgomery overshoot Warren. He sat up. He gets a kick away. Fujo now has it, but it. Over the fence. And calling mark by, after the scrambling bit of play at Shane Kavanagh. Drives it down from the centre wing, looking for Stott and Fegget. No one has the sit. There's a sit over here. Fred Gold heads for goal. But it's
through for 1 point there,
a minor
for Far
point
West.
only.
And, well, that's now the score goes to 75 points to Far West and 68 to
Darryl Montgomery, a male medalist.
Tapped down there by Ian Dorr. Ricky Kavanagh's in there. Gets it out to Montgomery. Montgomery's right foot kick finds Owen Halls. Goes the handball over there to Montgomery. Montgomery's trapped there by Miller, but he gets the handball away to Hazeldine. Hazeldine goes in there looking for Dino Ritzers.
We had another fella at Thevenard called Ben Watson, who was the local butcher.
Yeah.
And Ben couldn't kick a ball over a GM tin, but he could stop a guy from getting a ball. He would win every ball that come his way.
Yeah.
And he was lippy. He would get the opposition all fired up. They'd be arguing and scrapping him all day. But you're scrapping a butcher. All he's doing all day is punching out, but he skins off sheep and all that. You know, he can just box all day. This is what I do every day.
Happy with that.
And she's on. The umpire's in the middle there. Miller's in there, Maher's in there, and now she's an all-on draw. You can see this happening all day. Umpires have had no show. This looked like going on all the time.
They're scragging, and he'd be scragging onto people and giving them a mouthful of lip, and they'd be arguing with him. And when the rest of us would just be playing footy, you know.
Correct way, that's right.
Anthony Mahar, Peter Thompson, Kim Nisbet, so some pretty good footballers on that side as well. So
Kim Nisbet was a great footballer.
Yep.
Good afternoon and welcome to the highlights of the deciding game in the 1986 Mortlock Shield from Port Lincoln between Far West and Greater Flinders. We pick up the play in the third term with Far West leading in a hard-fought contest.
Attacking moves that Far West have made this quarter, and it'll be interesting to see whether they can top it off as they have in previous quarters. Nothing decisive here at all, and
Nisbet trying to burst through. Picks up, goes nowhere, knocked on by Pickett to the outer. Flinders will clear here. No, but Nisbet has a sit this time. He comes back inboard. He's looking for high fold and a ball that seemed to run down the top of his head. Finally controls the ball. He'll go into the goal square. I don't think he
the distance would only be about 40 metres there. And, I think he could make the distance all right from the way he's been kicking earlier.
And they're clapping. Well, the only thing I can say about the situation, the present moment, Leo, is that Far West accuracy have just given them that edge. I think the control of the ball is the same, but Far West kicking for goal has kept them well in this game. That was a goal by high fold.
There's Ron with his big camera sitting right next, so hopefully he's really good at filming footy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had a good camera. I did some commentary for him once.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, he was a fullback, played in Premiership with Ungara.
Okay.
But it's still in play. Kavanagh down the outer side, going towards the flank. Nesbitt hooks it back over his shoulder, and Scott has got the mark.
Yes, well, that's been a attacking move by Far West, and if they can steady now and get a couple of goals in, could make a big difference to the whole match. So,
it's a very vital kick for Far West, this one here, and Stott's not a real reliable kick, Leo, so there's a lot of pressure on him to do the right thing.
Well, he's threaded that one through the middle, and
he has done the right thing, so that's a bit of breathing space.
Kim Nisbet, he was the ultimate inside player. He's a carpet layer. He's just strong across the shoulders and quick too. So he would just go in and just brute strength, grab the ball and bring it out, you know.
Correct way.
And a lot of us, just including myself, just hovered around the outside. He'll get it for us.
I would have thought Uwe Oisman was in this. No, he couldn't have gone with us that year.
He would have been, obviously, an automatic selection.
You would have thought.
He's a very hard man, Uwe.
He was a tough man.
Yeah.
He didn't know his own strength. You'd be in the change rooms just messing around before a game, and he'd punch you on the arm and it just about goes straight through you. He didn't know how strong he was. So, no, he could play.
Who we got in there?
This is 1983. We made the grand final against Western United. Quarter time, we're about 5 goal down, and I'm thinking, oh, here I go again.
They're looking for Dino Retzes, but it's gone this way to Steve Miller. It's Jack Miller's kick straight down the oval. Ricky Kavanagh there by himself and marked. Kavanagh looked there for Barry Stott. It's going to be all Western United in front. It's taken by Snapper Miller. Steve Miller, I mean. Snapper was in there. Oh, he kicks it into the man. Dino Retzes bumps him off the ball. Through goes Crook, Turner, pushed a 15-yard penalty, and that could put Turner within scoring distance for Western United. It's Turner's kick. He's put another one on the board for Western United.
What happened?
We got back into the game in the second quarter. And
what got you back into it?
I went to a reunion 2 years ago for this side, and Anthony Mahar, our coach, got up and spoke at that reunion, and he said, we'll go in at quarter time, and I got all the Thevy stalwarts telling me I've got to change the side around, and I said, no, I'm not going to change the side around. We've been playing well all year. I'm just going to stick with what we got.
You know, I look at this side, and I just look at the you know, I had a lot of confidence in this team. You're thinking that they're going to go right, you know.
Couldn't control it. It's been taken out there by Hardy. Over the Warmington on quickly onto his left foot. Beat Timmy Nesbitt's mark though. Nesbitt on quickly over there looking for, who is it over there? Has to be Halls. Halls goes in short. He's not the best reliable of kicks. Western United in the way of Tuna. It's tapped out through Montgomery. Mahar goes wide looking for Kavanagh. Shane Kavanagh that is. Shane Kavanagh onto his left leg. He goes in short. He was looking for Snowy Myers but dropped a bit too short for Snowy. Myers in front. About 4 Western United players. No one in there to help him for Thevy. Westies come the way through Brook. Back there was Sorrell it was. Umpire's going to bounce the ball 30 to 40 metres out, 35 metres out from the Thevy goals. Scott Oisman handballs it out. Jeffrey Scott. Dino Retzes. Jeffrey Scott back to Dino Retzes. Back pedals onto his left foot. Oisman's in there, he's up. Through comes Anthony Mahar. This could be a goal, and it is. That one through Anthony Mahar.
And I always knew when I was playing football for Thevenard, if you shirked the issue out on a field, you were a wimp. No one told you, you just knew you were a wimp. And next week, B grade. So you always made sure you played, you went in hard every time, yeah. Yeah.
And it's contagious. I've always believed that's contagious in footy. If one guy in your team steps out or shirks an issue, then everyone says, well, if he's not going to put in, what am I going to put in? You know?
Can just see it fall apart.
Oisman goes short in there looking for Retzes. Retzes, centre half forward for Thevenard. He goes short back there. There's no one there but Western United, and the Western United player comes out and takes the mark. Hardy kick. Big fist of Sorrell comes out, but he missed the ball. It's taken there by Redding. Redding for Western United. Ricky Kavanagh marks well at half-back line. Half-back taker Kavanagh goes down the centre looking for Oisman. It's over Oisman's head and it's going to be marked there by Striner, I think it is. Bit of a fight. Bit of a punch up there. I think it was Steve Miller and Oisman. Yeah. Western United into attack again. Comes their forward line, gets the handball back, but this looks like Gower bursting his way through here. He goes for the safety of the boundary. Good way to go too, I think, at that stage.
And from after quarter time it started to work. By half time we're back in it, then where we won pretty easily.
Who'd you play against?
Western United.
Hazardine. Good night, Robbie Hazardine. Hazaardine's kick, looking for Retzes. Handball's over to Snowy Myers. Bursts his way through back to Retzes. Retzes back pedals looking for the big fella in Sorrell. He kicks and it's a goal.
That was my first A-grade premiership out of 6 attempts.
Yes, 6.
1983 premiers for grand final team Thevenard. Ubi Oisman, he kicked 5 goals. Shane Kavanagh 1. Peter Thompson kicked 5. Dino Retzes kicked 2. Anthony Mahar kicked 2. Sorrell, Stott and Mark Jones kicked 1 each. Anthony Mahar holds the shield up high.
The male medalist, Marty Mahar, won a couple.
Yep.
Shane Baker won a couple, then went up the Riverland and had a pretty good reputation up there. So.
Yep. And Marty Mahar, of course, one of the better coaches going around. He certainly took our Peninsula to that state championship.
Yep.
First thing I'd like to thank our team, our support crew, done a marvellous job over the last 4 days. Some of us had to travel for 8 hours on Thursday, and it's worth being here to win this. I'd like to thank Foundation SA for their support of country footy, and I believe that there may be a bit of a game later here. So if you hang around, you may get a good time.
He had a great reputation as a coach. Coached Thevenard for a number of years in a row there. That was the first of 5 in a row for Thevenard. So
you know the story about him when they played Safa at Alberton in the must have been the preliminary or the game before the final of that state championship, which was the day before the final, which is pretty tough. Come up 2 games in a row, but it was really, really muddy. You remember that Alberton, you used to have that black mud in the middle and stuff. And the ball was heavy, and of course Safa were
used to it.
They were on TV back at that time.
Yep,
they were basically professionals.
Yeah. At half time, Ray Wotherston, who was the selector, along with Madigan Sampson, spoke to me and said, "Watch out with these Safa umpires, because what they'll do is they'll bring out a new ball at half time." And the game was such that it was so windy in the first quarter that I played Barry Hutchins loose in defence and ran back. So we virtually had 2 loose in defence, and we allowed Joe Burgoyne and Fabian Davey to run forward. You know, very clever people to run forward. So so that was the first quarter, and we done reasonably well. We held them because it was a significant win. But in the second quarter, just bucketed down. It was just one of those days where the clouds just dropped everything they had on you, and you're just slipping and sliding. And then at half time, well, the weather cleared up again, you see. So, and the umpires had a new ball, and Ray had said to me, you know, watch out, they'll bring out the new ball. And so I went over to them at half time, and I just said, we don't want that ball. And they looked at me kind of, you know, what do you mean? No one, because I was a captain, had the number 1. And I said, well, we only tossed once, you know, so you don't get a new ball every time, you know. And I said, and that's all I said. We only toss once, and you know, you only win it once. And so I indicated that, you know, basically you shouldn't get a second bite of the cherry. And the umpire just said to me, well, what about 3/4 time? Well, and at that point I was the only person in the middle talking to the umpies, and, you know, it just seemed like to the outside a bit of a casual conversation. I just said, oh, well, you know, if that's what you want to do, basically. And so all through the third quarter, when Safa were going with the wind again, they've got this heavy, and it was just okay. Had the black Alberton mud all over it, and you could kick, if you got onto it, you could kick it 40 metres with the wind, you know. And so, yeah, they slogged it out, and then in the last quarter they switched the ball and gave us the new ball, and now we're going with the wind, and I'm going, thank you very much. It was a howling northerly, by the way, which is unusual, and away we went. I think we ended up winning by about 19 or 20 points after being, you know, down really for the whole game.
With the scores level right up until end of normal time. I think it was pretty much only an extra time that you kicked away.
Yeah, we just got on top of them. Yeah.
I think it was Horgan.
Yeah, Richard Horgan, yeah.
Horgan kicked the goal that put you in front.
Yeah.
And I reckon that came just before or just after like regulation time.
Yeah, sure. And Richard was a great player. You know, he's won medals in a lot of leagues and coached at Tumby, and had a lot to do with the Port Lincoln Footy League. And we're very lucky that he came and played with us at Thevenard, because he'd played a lot of reserve footy at Port Adelaide. He was just a polished, skilled player, and a good ball reader and a good ball user, you know, and those are invaluable people, you know. And
you've got to run it forward quickly. Taverner to contest from behind.
Charlton.
Great mark.
Strong mark, Charlton. He can go into the half-forward area. Long kick in the half-forward area. Phelps is there in front. McGowan stays down. He'll get the ball, a handball away. On quickly. Horgan. Down in front of Rule.
That's going to have to beat them to the ball here.
Well done, Rule. Pushed him out, got the ball clean.
Oh, here's a chance.
Here's John Cock. This is danger for Safa. He's going to run right into an open goal. Over to Horgan. Horgan must score a goal here. Air Peninsula hit the front for the first time.
Well, Air Peninsula have hit the front for the first time in the game. And it's the 21-minute mark of the last quarter. Now that spells danger for Safa because it's going to be very... What's there been? 11 goals scored for the game.
That was good work by Darren Rule in to hold that ball in and get it back out quickly. John Cock ran on quickly and Horgan came past for the handball.
So a Tumby fella, Richard Horgan, kicks the goal and put him in front with seconds to go, I think, and then a regular time, and I think in extra time, I think then Air Peninsula just the floodgates open and they kicked another 5 or 6, I think.
Richard Horgan actually had a season with Thevenard too, and when he's moving around with his teaching and played in a premiership there, that was well after I left. So.
Right, yep.
Holness has kicked the ball in the waiting arms of Orland Halls. Halls looking for Montgomery. There goes the final siren with Thevenard running out. 1983 premiers, 19 goals, 15 or 13 to 10 goal 9. It's a 9 goal 4 win to Thevenard. They thoroughly deserved their win. Been far superior all through the year. It's great to see Thevenard back on top of the Premiership again. 1983 premiers for grand final team Thevenard. Ubi Oisman, he kicked 5 goals. Shane Kavanagh 1. Peter Thompson kicked 5. Dean Allretz has kicked 2. Anthony Mark kicked 2. Sorrell, Stott and Mark Jones kicked 1 each. For the best players, well, we won't say who the best players are for Thevenard. All players played well for grand final side, and so instead of picking best players, we'll give it to the whole lot of them. They all played well and they thoroughly deserved their win. So, from your course commentator here at the Ceduna Oval, the man up top will probably take a few more. It's goodbye for this year, and we'll see you next year in the grand final again.
I think an interesting year was in '84. We'd won in '83 and then...
1984.
Yep.
We actually, Gunny Davey, who had won 3 male medals at Thevenard before he was 18, but then went to Tasman's, then to Darwin. We got him back because he still had relatives in Thevenard, so that added to our lineup with the...
Awesome.
So that year we played Canibba in the grand final, and it was a very high scoring game, about 19 goals each.
Wow.
About 10 minutes to go, we were 4 goal up, and I thought, oh, we're cruising here, and I was playing centre forward, and I took a couple of marks, but I kicked points, so I kicked 2 points. I'd already kicked a couple of goals before that. And then Canibba, as they did, got a run on, kicked 4 goals very quickly, and luckily the siren went and we won by 2 points. So I always say I scored the 2 winning points, but if I would have kicked straight, they wouldn't have got close. So then after that, we played in the Premier of Premiers at Wirral.
Oh, yeah.
That used to be between Kimber Premiers, LaHunt, Streaky Bay and Far West.
Yep.
A budget's any good to you?
Yeah.
You'd use them?
Yeah. Well, yeah, totally.
You never know what you might find in this box.
Really? Magic.
Yeah, they're all local budgets.
Really?
Association budgets.
You're a legend, mate. All right. Well, I'll look at that while you look at the...
No, take them with you.
Oh, really? Oh, you're a legend. You're a legend. Thanks very much, man. I really appreciate that. We got netball there as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Good on you.
The year before we played in it, we beat Kyan Cutter, but we didn't win by enough to get the shield. But that year we played Rovers from Streaky Bay and beat them by about 10 goals. So we were also the Premier of Premiers.
Great, good job. And of course, Rovers were pretty much the team.
Oh, look, why don't you grab the bloody thing?
I think he'll learn there one day. A little bit of practice.
Oh, a little bit of pace got through there.
Yeah.
Found young Marty.
Yeah, lots of Montgomerys playing at Rovers.
Yes, that's correct, the Montgomerys. And there might have been, was there one other family there from Rovers? It was pretty much the Montgomerys.
Yeah.
Pretty much ruled the roost there, didn't they? All right.
And Sorrell has taken yet another mark on that centre-half forward line.
Butch, thanks very much, man. You're a legend.
Okay, thank you.